The point is this. The military-industrial complex needs an enemy. And the enemy is Russia and also China. These are fake enemies used to justify stealing $35 trillion of U.S. tax money for their weapon systems. That's why they need this. This is all money. This is all vampire bastards. I'm telling you, I'm getting angry because they're putting the whole world at risk of nuclear war. There's a big political problem because the controllers of the UFO narrative, the guys who have already been making money off the government, and by this, I mean, well, Chris Mellon has his own money, so I don't know why, what his motive. Christopher Mellon, but John Alexander, Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, Gary Nolan, Jacques Vallée, Louis Elizondo, too, I must say. Louis Elizondo and a guy named Angel Diaz. They seem to not want the true explanation of what's going on to be told to the government, to the U.S. government, to Tim Burchett, Representative Polina, and who was, the other people involved, even Chuck Schumer. Even the AOC, right? She's into it. And even Marco Rubio, all these people. They're trying, and this guy, Colonel Nell, I think he means well, but he does, they're trying to say that this technology is a million years ahead of us. We have no understanding of it, but give us the money so we can work on it. They don't want him to know that Jack Sarfatti, who, by the way, supports Donald Trump, and they hate Donald Trump. See, that's another political. They're trying to suppress my explanation of how this stuff works because that would make them irrelevant. And that would mean they're not going to get the money from the government. Oh, they're also trying to get money from Middle Eastern. They're trying to get Middle Eastern money, too.
You don't need to do much for that. I mean, there's plenty.
Well, no, but of course, right now everything's to go BRICS. It turns out the Saudis, the United Arab Emirates, they're all going
by the
Russia.
By the way, and I'm astonished. I am absolutely astonished. I've never seen this in the Wall Street Journal, but you saw on June 9th of this year that the petrodollar died, like officially.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's all Joe Biden. That's all because of Joe.
Well, it's because of the sanctions regime. So there were stuff that they did that was legal and acceptable, but then they started targeting assets that were in U.S. dollars. And the moment you do that, you devalue U.S. dollars because it becomes risky to hold U.S. dollars.
Everybody's leaving.
Why the hell would you do that? Like it's stupid.
Okay. All right.
Anyway,
no. It turns out this is very relevant. Very relevant what you just said. It actually pertains to our subject. The
implication though is horrifying because that's been, once we got off the gold standard in 1973 when all this stuff happened. We're moving into an era where the days of easy, like U.S. dollar dominance are starting to wane. So what I'm worried about is there are ways to fix that, and there are ways to fix that. And one of the ways to fix that is to go to war and completely undo the current geopolitical order, and then you convert to, well,
of course, that's impossible because any war now is going to be a nuclear war, so it's all over.
When the United States and China clash, the world will never be the same, especially when forces beyond reality threaten to intervene. What if the United States went to war with the People's Republic of China? How would these rivals fight for supremacy on land, sea, air, and across the stochastic streams of time? What wonder weapons would be unleashed? What horrors would emerge from the irradiated sludge of the South China Sea? What heroes would rise and forever change the course of history? Tread into the deepest and darkest dimensions of the multiverse, gaze through a kaleidoscope of fractured realities, and bear witness to the disturbing visions of World War III from today's greatest minds in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Weird World War, China. Available now from Baen Books at baen.com.
It's all over.
Yeah, but I don't think these idiots are. I think they think there could be limited nuclear war. Like, they're convincing themselves of all sorts of insanity.
No, they're very stupid. They're dangerously stupid, and they're all what I'm going to say. Yeah, I think we're in agreement. The American leadership under Joe Biden is dangerously stupid and incompetent. And that also includes David Cameron and Rishi Sunak, everybody running, all the Tories in England, and I guess Labour too. The only one who's not crazy is Nigel Farage. And Macron he's going out, Macron's, it's only Viktor Orban's the only smart one, and maybe Maloney we are the aggressors. Russia is totally justified in Putin's as Scott Ritter says, Vladimir Putin's the only adult in the room. He's the only one who's preventing us from going into a nuclear war. He's trying to.
So our views are a little nuanced. I think both sides not blundered. I understand why Putin's doing what he's doing. I think he just overdid it a little bit, and I think.
I don't think so. Why do you think he overdid it? Because do you know the facts? I don't think you're aware of all the facts. He bent over backwards before invading to try to negotiate a peace deal. Yeah, he was willing. Do you know this? I don't think you know what really happened. I know more about this than you. Do you know about Minsk? Do you know about the Minsk Accords?
Yeah, we didn't follow the Minsk agreement. He didn't follow the Minsk agreement either.
No, that's false. He followed it. Who told you that? You're reading.
Well, he's not supposed. If Ukraine got rid of nuclear weapons, he's not supposed to attack Ukraine. He attacked Ukraine.
No, you don't understand anything. I'm sorry, son. You're mixing up. You're bumbling.
Right, so tell me what he did that was within.
What you say is totally nonsense. You have to go back. You have to go back actually to, I think, 2008. Okay, first of all, you have to really go back. We go back to 1991, when the Soviet, or 1989, 90, when the Soviet Union fell, and it was Gorbachev and Yeltsin with George Bush, Reagan and George Bush by the time, and the agreement was that NATO would not move east at all.
Right.
Okay.
And they did.
Right. And they did.
Right.
Okay, but wait.
I agree. You and I are in agreement there.
Okay. No, wait.
Right.
And by the way, there's this guy, Jeffrey Sachs, who's a professor. He was there. You have to watch Jeffrey Sachs on YouTube. Yeah, he explains the detail. He was actually physically there. He was a witness to all this.
Yeah, okay? John Mearsheimer's another, I think.
And Mearsheimer Sachs. All right, but now, Putin gets in 2000. Putin was KGB, but Putin lived in Germany, and Putin is actually pro-Western compared to a lot of people in his elite. He lived in Germany. He lived in the West. He knew what was going on. Okay, when Putin took over, Putin actually, his motivation, he doesn't want to take over the Soviet Union again. That's bullshit. But what Joe Biden said in that debate with Trump is totally deranged insanity.
And to your point, right? His population is actually declining. It's not like he needs space. He has a 60.
He doesn't need space. Yeah, he doesn't need space. And also,
we're fine there, right?
Yeah. But wait. But let me give the fullness of this. You haven't touched on some very important things. He wanted Russia to normalize relations with the West. He wanted to become part of NATO.
To advertise on Through a Glass Darkly, email throughaglassdarkly@gmail.com.
Right. And Clinton kind of ignored the request. Yeah.
No, but why? The question is why.
They didn't trust the Russians.
No, that's part of it. Yeah, but that's some little. But there's more to it than that. That's one of the factors. Yes.
Right.
The main factor is the military-industrial complex. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, what are the others? Grumman, all these guys. BlackRock, what's his name? Larry Fink. Larry Fink is he's Jewish, like I'm Jewish. He's gonna create a tremendous amount of anti-Jewish hatred. Larry Fink for what he's doing.
He's the guy who's buying all these houses, and
he's buying all the land, and he wants to take over Ukraine. He's selling Ukraine. It's Ukraine. The Ukrainians, they want to be a BlackRock farm, basically, and mining. It's all. The point is this. The military-industrial complex needs an enemy. And the enemy is Russia and also China. These are fake enemies used to justify stealing $35 trillion of U.S. tax money for their weapon systems. That's why they need this. This is all money. This is all vampire bastards. I'm telling you, I'm getting angry because they're putting the whole world at risk of nuclear war. And if Trump gets in,
I'm with you there.
Listen, I was on the show. I was told by two different CIA guys that I was on the short list to be Trump's science advisor if he got reelected. I was told by two of these guys that they mentioned my name to Trump. I've been a Trump supporter since 2015. Okay. In fact, there's a whole other thing that's the Russian. Okay. And if Trump gets elected, and if Trump starts listening to me directly, I mean, I tell him what I've recommended. What Trump needs to do, he has to arrest all the top executives of Lockheed, Grumman. You know why? And plus all the four stars, all these guys like Reuters, Austin, all these guys who go back and forth between the Pentagon and cushy jobs. Because what has been proved in the Ukraine wars, it was like the Spanish Civil War where they tested out the weapons. Number one, U.S. weapons are crap.
Well, they're having issues with the Russians are having electromagnetic.
No, more than that. Okay, listen, I really know the shit. I really know what I'm talking about right now. Okay, what they've done the last 30, since Clinton at least, what they've done, the military-industrial complex, they have overcharged tremendously.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
The weapons are badly designed, not enough of them. Let's take the Abrams tank. The Abrams tank is a piece of crap, worthless shit that the Ukrainians don't even want to use them in the mud, in the terrain conditions.
It's a 50-year-old tank.
Not only that, it's more than that.
Back in the day, it was an amazing tank.
No, it's a piece of shit then too.
I was on it. We did extremely well against the Iraqis. Just wiped them out.
Well, yeah, the Iraqis. The Iraqis.
They were using Russian equipment. Now today, I agree with you because of the advent of drone warfare. But it's a 50-year-old.
Yeah, more than that. That's true. I agree with you. But let me finish. Yeah. Let me say what I want to say. Let me complete a sentence, please. The tank, today's Abrams tank, first it's 60 tons. And you have for several months a year, much of the year in the wintertime, I'm talking about the Ukrainian battlefield. It's thick mud and the goddamn things just sink. They can't use them.
Rasputitsa. Yeah, by the way, it's 70 tons.
It's a 70 ton? All right.
Yeah.
All right, that way.
Yeah.
Number two, it has a jet turbine engine, which runs way too hot, so you see it on the infrared. It's a perfect target for the drones. I mean, so fucking stupid. For every hour of operation, it needs 8 hours of maintenance. It'll only run for 8 hours. And when the tank is standing still, you still have to run the fucking engine. And not only that, since it's running at 1,000 degrees, you really have an accident. It's real. So the things break down a lot, and they're not suitable. The Russian tanks, they know their terrain. They're lighter and they're faster. Okay. So, and by the way, the Leopards and the Challengers, the French and the German and the English, and even the French tanks, not much better. So what's happened, and you're right about the drones. So the Russian army has no problem eliminating. As soon as the tanks show up, bang, they're gone. Okay. Yeah. So destroying all the tanks. We're destroying. Okay, the F-35 is a piece of shit.
It's been known to be a piece of shit.
Right. Yeah, piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah. And what else do we have? Oh, yeah. The artillery. Okay, for one thing, what happened was Bill Clinton, already in the 1990s, as you well know, sold out all our manufacturing surge capacity to China. Mm-hmm. And all the guys who knew how to make the steel and how to do the weapons and stuff like that, they're all flipping burgers at McDonald's and dying on fentanyl because they're depressed, they don't have decent jobs. So the Democrat Party, the communist traitors that they are, oh man, what I would do if I had the power.
Easy. Look, easy. I think, I'm not
you understand, right?
But I am an anti-Democrat.
I'm not. No, wait. I'm not a Republican either. I'm an independent. I think. I could say that most of the Republicans, the rhinos, I think it's a uni party. When I say,
two wings on the same bird. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, what's his name? McConnell with his Chinese wife. They're all, and Pelosi. They're all making
By the way,
money.
Did you see what happened to his sister-in-law?
Oh, something. She was killed? She drowned or something?
Yeah.
Was that? Do you think that was an assassination? Was that an accident or was it?
I think the Chinese did something because she was the CEO of this Chinese conglomerate.
Okay, she was Chinese, right? She's Chinese. She's Chinese.
I think she's both. Okay. I think she was Taiwan, not Taiwanese, from Hong Kong. It's a Hong Kong.
Yeah, but I mean, she's Asian. She's Asian.
Yeah, shipping conglomerate. Right?
Yeah,
the Chow family has a shipping conglomerate.
Yeah. Oh, she's a Chow. Okay, the Chow family. Yeah. So I think they killed her. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, because she would have seen if they're making preparations for Taiwan with all the shipping contracts that she has between China, the U.S., Japan.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't think. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So the point is that all this Russophobia has been manufactured in order to justify spending $1 trillion a year on crap stuff. It's like Arthur Miller's play, All My Sons. This plot of All My Sons, where it's World War II, and this guy is an airplane manufacturer, and to save money, he skimps on the parts, puts an inferior part, and one of his 3 sons is a pilot, gets killed in a bad aircraft that he manufactured. Okay? And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So these guys are traitors, man. These guys are traitors. They literally, now what has happened? But let's see what has happened. We don't have the surge. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Putin kept all the factories. Putin kept all the factories in Siberia. Putin is now able to make, 3 million shells a year. At most, a year from now, maybe we can make with Europe and maybe we can make 1 million. We can't possibly match them in artillery.
The Ukrainians
we can't
are
match
also
them
spending ammunition faster than a U.S. military.
Oh yeah, we could supply them for 2 days or something like that. So, but the point is this. I mean, I'm pro Putin. I'm pro Russia on this war. But even if I was pro American, I'm still I'm pro American and pro. I mean, listen, I'm pro American.
Look, I'm pro American. I'm going to support my country. However, the people who are running it are driving us headlong into a war we could easily avoid. Not
only avoid, we're going to lose it one way or the other. If it's conventional war, NATO will not last 2 weeks in the battlefield in a conventional war.
So if you had said that 2 years ago when Putin first invaded, like if we had opposed Putin at the very beginning of this conflict, we would have run through him like shit through a goose. However,
but
in the last 2 years, his military, because with the Russians, excuse my language, they always fuck up at the very beginning and they always get slaughtered, but they always learn. And right now where they are, like I still am connected with people in the U.S. military, like in terms of friends.
Yeah.
I asked a friend, like, what are we doing in the Army right now to prepare for drone warfare? Do we have, look, I'm going back to World War II, right? Where the Germans, obviously the bad guys, but they figured out, warfare at the very beginning. They knew, Heinz Guderian knew that you have to concentrate your tanks, in that war. The same thing applies to drones. You can't have one-off little drone units like the French had a tank here, a tank there, and their infantry units. You have to mass them. Right now, our military is organizing like the French were in World War II with tanks. Like they might have like a little drone operator in a battalion or something like that, but we don't have like drone battalions and things like that. And it's because the people at the top are all political generals. They're not
we agree with
ahead.
that. Yeah. So the issue is if Trump gets in, Trump was betrayed by his own close associates. First, he hired all the wrong people. He didn't know. He was not. He didn't know.
It was all Bush administration, like neocons, right?
Yeah, all these neocons. Yeah, so they destroyed him. And the question is, will he make the same mistake again? If he, I hope not. But what my main worry is that. Oh, did you see the latest on Zelensky? You see the date? No. This is very important. It's on. You can see it on. Judge Napolitano, some of these guys, you can see Zelensky is shown. This happened like 2 days ago, saying he finally admits he's scared. The guy is fear and panic on his face, which I've never seen before. Okay, somebody laid down the law to him. He says he admits enormous dead and wounded Ukrainians.
Yeah.
He says, we're running out of troops. We're running out of time. And you can see they're going to kill him one way. He's not going to, either he's going to fly off somewhere, but probably the neo-Nazi Azovs, and then they're going to blame it on the Jews, right?
Yeah. It's funny how that was. It's funny how that was memory hold so quickly. It's like there's a whole history of like a pro-Nazi collaborator who fought. But to be fair, if you were a Ukrainian, after the after the Ukrainian famine, of course you would fight for the Germans against the Soviets.
Yeah, some of them in the West, some of them did. Yeah, it was split. Yeah, I understand.
But it's complicated. So I'm saying it's not
complicated.
Like black and white. But the Azovs were certainly like pro-Nazi. Like that's not the fact that we tried to cover that up is ridiculous, right?
Yeah, and by the way, do you know that the 3 Azov battalions that remain, there are 3 brigades of battalion, whatever. They're disobeying orders. They're saying, "Fuck you! We're not going to go in there and get ourselves, suicide missions."
Yeah.
So they're going to. Yeah, of course. So it's clear that the Azov guys they're going to whack Zelensky if he doesn't get out soon. It's obvious. Yeah. So they lost the war. But the point is, in my opinion, Putin was perfectly justified in his special military operation at the beginning, because what happened was that was not a serious operation. He sent in 90,000 people, kind of stupid down that thing where they were,
It looked to me like it was modeled off of the Operation Iraqi Freedom, like the Thunder Run through Baghdad.
Yeah, but the point is,
what was supposed to happen? He was supposed to take Gostomel Airport, and then he was going to run that operation mainly to find, fix, and kill the leadership of the Ukrainian government. And then that was my sense of what he was doing. The other stuff was just meant to put pressure
maybe,
on the
maybe, but also it was also That's certainly what you say is plausible. But the other theory I heard, it was this a psychological operation to show he's serious, to get to the negotiating table, which happened like right away. They went to the negotiating table. Right. They first, and then what happened was in Ankara or Istanbul, in Turkey, in any case, Erdogan brokered the thing, and they actually had an agreement. The New York Times just published the agreement. They had the agreement.
And the British Prime Minister.
I mean, Ukraine would have come out fine. Ukraine, would have kept most of their territory. Neutrality, and all these people would have been alive. And what happens? The whore, Boris Johnson, is a whore, in my opinion. Shame on him. I used to like him, actually. But he's actually Biden and Victoria Nuland, all these neocon whore, goes to Turkey and sabotages the deal, tells Zelensky, listen, don't do this. We're going to, and that was Zelensky's big mistake, pact with the devil, right? It's just like Faust and Boris Johnson, Mephistopheles, right?
Yeah, because it's nothing to the American government if they're not losing soldiers. It's the Ukrainians that are losing the soldiers.
Yeah, and by the way, Lindsey Graham came out and said, hey, we can't let Putin have Eastern Ukraine because it has all these $1 trillion worth of rare earth minerals in it. He's disgusting. I mean, he's really disgusting. That Lindsey Graham.
What I think needs to happen is they just need to come to the table and end this thing.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, now, yeah, of course. But the problem is that
they're taking out early warning radar systems, right? Like, you see this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean, yeah, but they were facing south. You mean the Russian? Yeah, but yeah.
No. I mean, the Ukrainians using U.S. weapons are taking out early warning, like, what the fuck, Jack? What the fuck? Like, if somebody started taking out our early warning stations that like help us see incoming nuclear missiles, what do you think we would do?
Yeah,
like,
and so
insane.
It shows how mature that Putin is the good guy here, because he's
I'm not going to use good guy, bad guy. I'm just going to use, if I'm the head of state. Okay, like you can say good guy, whatever, but I'm just going to say, if I'm the head of state, regardless of whether or not it's Putin or anybody, like, well, the other thing, you saw what happened in Sebastopol, right?
With the beach. Yeah, the beach, of course.
So they shut down at least one Global Hawk so far, and you can look, that's remarkable.
Yeah, they're going to shoot down. Yeah, well, Lavrov.
That's remarkably restrained, right?
Yeah, well, they'll shoot down. If we send a manned plane in there, they're going to shoot it down. They have to shoot it down.
Yeah. After that, absolutely.
No, absolutely. They have to shoot it down.
It's just, the other thing too is these people who are running our government don't have a backup plan, because let's play this out.
Stupid.
Let's say like on day one, on like February 22nd, 2022. We should have started to rebuild our manufacturing capacity. Right now, we have all these highly specialized, advanced munitions. Like, we just need bullets. Okay,
but you know why? You want to know why that didn't happen and why it's not going to happen? You want to know why? Two reasons. Because Lockheed and Raytheon, all these guys, General Dynamics, they're all into the profit motive. In Russia, profit has nothing to do with it. They're parts of the state. So this is one big advantage.
It's about survival.
Yeah. No, but they're not going to do it. And number two, it's too late, because we don't have the workforce that has the competence. We destroyed them 30 years ago. Clinton already destroyed them. We let them go. All the knowledge. They can't even make the steel. There's a certain amount of steel they need for certain weapons. I forget what it is. And they forgot how to make the steel. All the guys who knew how to do it are dead now, and they didn't train young people to do it. They've lost the apprentice.
Let's take this a step further. Jack, when's the last time we tested a nuclear weapon? Like an actual
that's the other. Yeah, that's the other thing.
When's the last time?
Yeah. What, 30 years ago?
Probably sometime in the 1980s, maybe.
Yeah,
right? I'm not saying we have to test in the open. We could test underground, something like that.
Oh, there's another thing. Yeah, there's nothing. Somebody's about the tritium. You need tritium to replenish the hydrogen bombs or something. And we haven't been manufacturing tritium for like 30 years.
So how many of our nuclear weapons still work?
Probably very few.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about nuclear weapons design, but like,
I don't know that much.
Nobody in the fucking press is asking these questions. Like, what the fuck, Jack? Excuse my language. I got to stop with the language.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I can't stand this incompetence. I mean, you know what my background is, right? You know who trained me on like international affairs and stuff like that?
No, tell me. You're in the military.
You know who Ash Carter is?
Yeah.
He was my thesis advisor at the Kennedy School. I did my master's thesis was on what to do with Iran's nuclear program if absent a diplomatic agreement. What's Plan B?
No, you mean Kennedy? Is that at Harvard? Well, where was Kennedy School? It's
at Harvard. Yeah, it's at Harvard.
Yeah. Oh, so you're a Harvard boy.
Also an Army officer. Grad school. I went to Stanford undergrad, but
you went to Stanford
undergrad. Okay. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a smart guy. I study hard. That's all.
You're one of the boys. All right, got it. Yeah, because I'm Cornell Ivy League, so
yeah. Well, Stanford's not technically Ivy League, anyway.
Well, it's the Western.
It's in the
equivalent. Same. Yeah, it's a Western equivalent.
But all right, so if he saw this shit, he would be turning in his. He's a physicist like you. He would be turning in his grave. Like, this is amateur.
Oh, he's dead.
Jack.
When did he die?
He died at the end of last year.
What, COVID?
Recently. I think it was. He's always had heart issues.
How old was he?
Oh God,
younger than me, probably.
Definitely younger than you. He's right He's probably in his 60s.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's too bad.
He died. I mean, like his mentor's still alive. William Perry is still alive.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So So the thing is, we agree. Well, Blinken's an idiot. Sullivan's an idiot. These guys, I mean,
Sullivan's the one who took it. Well, I don't know officially, but like when I hear people say that Putin took out the Nord Stream pipeline, it's just why didn't he just turn it off? He could shut it off at any time. And then if he destroys it, he has no leverage. Like, are you listening to yourself? How stupid you sound? Like,
listen, it's surreal. Now, let me get to the highs. Let me get back to the UFO issue and the warp drive because it actually connects here. But it's just kind of. Here's the thing. What we're doing is so stupid. And these guys were not. I mean, they can't be that stupid, really. Do you know about Louis Elizondo's slide 9?
I keep hearing about it. I always thought it was the five or six observable.
No, it's another one. In fact, I have it. I could show. If
you can remind me. I've heard of it, but I can never remember.
It's about the psychotronic warfare. Okay, now listen. Now you remember when the CIA basically drafted me into this whole thing back in the early 70s.
Okay, so MK.
They said two things.
Ran from 1953 to 1973. Now, something happened to you in 1953. That's when you.
Let's get back because it'll sound too crazy. It's relevant. But they asked me, and the CIA now and the defense people, they asked me two problems: how does consciousness work, as well as the UFO physics propulsion. Why did the CIA want to know how consciousness works? Mind control, right? Mind control. And that's all the. So I could spend a whole.
Well, if you lived through 2020 and 2021, we all know exactly how well mind control works.
Yeah, but I'm talking about even more literal than that. I'm talking about really like mind control, controlling the brain at a distance. Louis Elizondo's slide 9 is about that. Let's see it. And the physics that I did back in the 90s, that's in that paper by Pavel Pilkin, also includes things like the CIA remote viewing and also remote mind control. And that's the whole point of Louis Elizondo's slide.
Remote
is saying
influencing is what they
remote
call it.
Influencing, okay?
Right.
And that's what I think may be happening.
Now, with remote viewing, it was always on an individual level. Same thing with remote influence.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about more. This is more than remote viewing. This is remote control of the mental functions of a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not this is Louis Elizondo's intelligence. Whatever this is from the DIA, right? That he got this thing. Okay. And what I'm saying is that the physics, this is exactly why the CIA, 50 years ago, asked me to work on all this stuff. That's what they were interested in knowing how to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But the issue is, okay, suppose it's called psychotronics, psychoenergetics. And what I can tell you is, yes, this is within the laws of physics as we now know them. So, and if at the very end, at the very bottom of Elizondo's slide, he says, and this is all quantum physics, and he's right, this is, but it's all stuff that I developed, a lot of it. Okay, I was asked to develop this, okay? So it's recorded. All right, so the point is this, who gains by having us be so stupid? Who's gaining? Can you say the Russians?
The elites.
By the way,
the elites, whoever the elites are, whatever you want to put in.
Maybe, but they can't. But the point is, what we're, if you look at the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, we're 90 seconds to midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is this: that even I don't see Larry Fink or whoever these guys could be, listen, I mean, I was up at Bohemian Grove. The guys up at Bohemian Grove, they control, they control everything.
Right.
There's one camp up there. They were all CIA admirals and generals, 4 stars and stuff like that. In one of the camps. Okay.
Well,
so,
Jack,
but they're not
familiar. Are you familiar with the, I forget what the book's called. Strauss is one of the authors, but they talk about the cyclic aspects of history, the 4 turnings. Are you familiar with that?
No. But let me stay on this thing. The thing is this. Okay, now this is okay. I have to. It's going to get a little weird now. I also know, aliens. The aliens are real. I know. I've been read in on certain facts which I can't go into detail.
When you say aliens, though, that could mean a lot of things. It could be ETs. It could mean non-human intelligences from other dimensions. Could be future humans.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure about what other dimensions actually means, but that's a whole. We could spend a lot of time about that.
That's a.
I'm talking about. Okay, I'm talking about the Greys, the little guys with the big eyes. Okay, and the spindly, and they're probably androids. They're hybrids.
Androids. Right.
Yeah, biological androids. What I can tell you is that I have seen smoking gun vetted evidence, live one. I've heard them and how they talk. Okay, they're kind of cute. And
would you say that if they showed up in your bedroom at night when you were frozen?
Well, I don't know. Well, maybe but I'm talking about a live one that was actually in a crash, okay, and was somewhat hurt and needed help. And a certain the military were looking for this crashed vehicle. And they found it, and I saw it. As you see, it was hiding behind a bush, like in the forest there. And this military guy says, he coaxes it out. This, it's kind of, a special forces type guy, and coaxes it out. It's like the horse whisperer, and the thing comes out. And I saw in great detail, video, color video, taken, on the spot. This is real video. This is not CGI. This is being shown to me by a high-ranking military person. great, and it's all classified stuff, and and I see the video, and they take the thing into this was like in 2017, I think it was, not that long ago.
When you saw the video, or when the video was recorded?
No, when the video was recorded. I saw the video recently, not too long ago.
Oh wow.
Okay. And I was also shown a photograph of a different kind of alien. The reptoid one, the big ones with a weapon that looked pretty ominous. And I also know all the stuff about the orbs. You said the plasma sentient orbs. You know about that?
Yeah, the Russians have, if you look at their literature, there's two types of beings that they would see, and plasma orbs were one of them, like plasma beings.
Yeah, okay, the plasma beings, those are real too. So I know of at least three different. Now those are. And by the way, the physics.
Is that like the?
Yeah, exactly. Bledsoe? Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. The Chris Bledsoe stuff is real. And also, what are we talking about? There's this guy Dan Smith who I knew, Dan Smith, who allegedly had, he's associated with Ronald Pandolfi from the CIA. Dan Smith, whose father was. Yeah. Well, I know him pretty well. But the thing is that Dan Smith had an experience with that kind of a Bledsoe type orb, and he really did. And so did Joe Firmage, who funded me for a while. Joe Firmage, about him. He funded Put Off and all these guys.
He's
Firmage had
gyroscope. Yeah.
He's a little crazy, and he got in trouble with Brandon Fugal. He's from the aristocracy of the Mormons. His great grandfather was Joseph Smith or something like that. So he bamboozled Brandon Fugal into wasting millions of dollars. I could have told Brandon not to do it, but Brandon didn't know me or didn't listen. But the point is, no, Joe is a contactee, though. I mean, Joe, he believed. The problem with Joe is that he believed his own. He didn't know his limits, so he's crazy. But he meant well, and he did have the same kind of experience with the orbs that Dan Smith reports, and also Uri Geller had that kind of contact, which is how he claims he got his powers. But the thing with Geller is that there was a witness. Geller was like 4 or 5 years old in a garden in Tel Aviv, and there was a young Israeli soldier, about 18, 19, who witnessed the orb thing. That soldier later became a general in the IDF, and finally, a couple of years ago, after he retired publicly, that he could say it was Mossad and that he was lying about it. But anyway, he says he witnessed, what Geller's talking about. So I have at least 3 reports, and of course I know Uri Geller very well too. So the orbs are real, and they're sentient, and the physics is quite, it's not unusual, because we are orbs. The brain, we have these, the brain electromagnetic field that's confined, the neuroelectric field that's in our brains, it's basically an orb. It's like an orb, but it's attached to the electrons. That's what we are.
So it could be why at like Fukushima, where there's like lots of deaths, you see orbs, like kind of in the aftermath.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. But the point is, we have to take these reports seriously, even though they sound crazy. So now the issue is this. Here's the issue. Why I'm bringing this up. The universe is a big universe. There are many kinds of extraterrestrial beings out there, because it's just DNA. It's all life is going to evolve. We now know there are plenty of exoplanets, right? And pretty soon we'll be able to see some of these Earth-like exoplanets. And the warp drive, the stuff, the warp drive that I've developed is pretty elementary. Hang on a minute. Sorry, okay. So the point is, there can be many different kinds of extraterrestrial species that have this warp drive technology, time travel technology. Really is like Star Trek and Star Wars. And by the way,
back in the 40s, they said it was like a Buck Rogers universe, something like that.
I grew up on Buck Rogers and Captain Video. There's a whole thing. In fact, I won't go into it. I was actually in some of the studios, Captain Video, when they back in the late 1940s or early 50s when they were filming the episodes, because my grandfather worked for the Army. There's a whole thing. In any case, yeah. So I grew up on that stuff. But the point is that the Spielberg, Coppola, the guys Back from the Future, they've all been read in by the intelligence agencies. Spielberg knows what I'm telling you. Spielberg knows this stuff too. He's been read in. Okay. And so a lot of the stuff, the movies, that are being made. And by the way, I was involved in some of this. I'm the guy who introduced Jacques Vallée to Francis Ford Coppola and his friends. That's how Jacques Vallée got involved in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because I took him to a party with Uri Geller at Francis's house in 1976. Jacques writes about it, okay? And so I was actually involved with a lot of these Hollywood people in the 70s making these movies. And they're making them. In fact, there's a book called Hollywood and the UFOs. There's a book about that. A lot of these guys were read in by the military intelligence that these things are real. It's part of the disclosure, slow burn, softening up process. Okay, so those movies,
because I don't think they're going to be able to keep all this stuff together for.
They can't.
UFO stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, if we get into a war with Russia and they try to draft it, ain't going to be like Vietnam where only the left is opposing you.
Well, no, okay. Let's get back to sort of more mundane. Zelensky 2 days ago came out scared. You could see the panic and fear on his face, running out of time. So I think they're going to Zelensky's going to be dead in a couple of days, a couple of weeks. He's either going to be killed by his own guys, or by maybe our guys. Like we killed Diem, right, in Vietnam. He's going to be out. The Ukrainian army is going to totally collapse militarily. Way before the election, way before November. We're talking about the next. This is the way I'm predicting what's going to happen. We'll see if I'm right or not.
I think they're going to pull all the stops to prevent that. That's why I think you're.
The problem is that we don't. There's nothing. We don't have anything to pull. There's nothing. What can they do? All they can do is use a nuke. Our guys. All they can do is use a tactical nuke.
Unfortunately, Jack, you're right. You're right about that. I know people who've spoken to generals like 5-10 years ago, or like, hey, if this happens, if we don't have enough manufacturing plants, like, what are we going to, and the general he was talking to, his answers were like, well, Colonel, that operational problem becomes a strategic problem after that, which is
which is insane. We're talking about Dr. Strangelove. It's totally crazy.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm talking about it, because I'd like to talk about the physics, but my God, we're on the brink of a nuclear war. These could be the final days. I mean, there's a high probability that all your loved ones are going to be killed.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be over.
If you believe in retro causation, though,
all right,
we wouldn't be having this conversation if that happened.
Well, okay, right. Okay, now here's the thing, though. Right. That's the bad news. We're wargaming now. We're doing scenarios, right? That's worst case. The worst case scenario is that tomorrow Biden presses the nuke button, then it's all over. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario. Now it's 1953. Jackie Sarfatti is a 13-year-old kid. Telephone rings. Pick up the telephone. I hear this cold, metallic voice. Sounds like Stephen Hawking's computer voice. It says it's a conscious artificial intelligence on board a spacecraft from the future. I'm not making this up.
No, I believe the question is who was that, right? That's where it gets right.
Well, not who, but also what was it?
Or correct, right?
Okay, all right. Now, in the course, I'm not going to give all the detail, but in the course, it said I was going to meet the others in 20 years. In 1973, through very strange coincidences. See, this is the part you can't. Yeah,
That's when we went off the gold standard. That's when the petrodollar became down. Lots of stuff happened in 73.
Yeah, okay. No, but in 1973, I wind up on at Stanford Research Institute under very strange circumstances. How that happened. And who do I meet? Hal Puthoff, Russell Togg. They're talking about UFOs from the future. In fact, it's a CIA thing. You can hear about an hour worth of that meeting from the actual meeting with me, meeting Hal Puthoff, Russell Togg, and Russell Togg talking about, we think that the flying saucers are time machines back from the future in 1973 at Stanford Research Institute. Edgar Mitchell was in charge. Edgar Mitchell, the astronaut. Okay. So the point is this. And also, by the way, and you'll hear me talking. You'll hear me talking about what happened to me in 1953. I talked about everything I'm telling you in 1953, and you'll hear this guy Brendan O'Regan, who's one of the top guys in the project. I say, oh yeah, we have data, several hundred incidents of that kind. All right, so the point is this: what happened in 53? What? Yeah, I mean it's too. Yeah, it's time travel. It's the other one because correctly predicts what's going to happen in 20 years. All right. So assuming that is, I'm leaving out a lot of important corroborating facts, but assuming if that is real, let's assume that is real. Because they said that I was going to develop their technology. They're teaching, it's that time travel sort of thing. You get a book from the future, how to build it. It's a time loop sort of thing. Self-consistent loop in time. So if the stuff I'm doing now with other people I work with, if that's creating that technology, that means we're not going to have a nuclear war in the next few weeks that destroys everything.
Right.
Because I haven't finished the mission yet. That's the best case scenario, but I could be wrong.
Unless you were finished. They take your technology, or they take your theory, and they develop it secretly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but who's they? See, who's? Oh, the other thing I got to mention. I should have. I was, some reality here. I was invited to Moscow State Physics Department to lecture on my quote, Jack, we'd like your vision of warp drive. Moscow State, July 2023. They wanted me to actually physically go there. Yeah. They didn't offer money. They never go there. But if not, I could have done it by Zoom. So I said I'd do it by Zoom. I was actually in Italy at the time. I could have gone there. But this guy. And the Zoom never happened because it was right at the time, a few days before, when Prigozhin, the Wagner column, was going toward Moscow, and there's all this chaos. It was right at that time that this happened. But the point is that the Russians monitor my work, and I put my stuff on. The Russians monitor my work, and actually, I've been videoed by St. Petersburg Channel 5 twice. If you look at back when Obama was president, they sent the film crew to video me. One was a kind of session like we're having now. They wanted my ideas on all the UFOs and all this stuff. That was the first time they came. It was about 2014. And the second time they came was in June, I guess June 6th, 2016. When is Trump's birthday? Trump's birthday is on the 16th of June. Yeah, 2016. They came, now this is pretty interesting. They came not to talk physics. They wanted to talk to me about Donald Trump. And you can see this on video. You can actually see this. You can see this on the internet. The video, the interview with me about Donald Trump. You can see it. What it was, this is June of 2016, where Trump was not yet Trump. It was the campaign, during the campaign. June of 2016. Okay. And I guess they knew my connection to Trump because I'm a friend of Michael Savage. I don't know if you know Michael Savage, the radio guy.
Host.
The radio used to be, he's kind of retired now. but he's a close. He knows Trump. He had Trump on. He was voting, and Mike Savage and I were like brothers. We know each other since 50 years. We're like from New York. We're kind of schmoozing. And also So and they asked me what they asked me at the time, and you could hear it, you could see it. Well, they quote a few. They asked me what did I think Trump's opinion of Vladimir Putin was? What did I think Trump would do about NATO if he became president? What else did they ask me? A couple of things like that. And I forget what else, but those are the two big things they asked. But it's funny that they came. Yeah, I mean, you're an intelligence guy, right? To some extent. Okay. Oh, wait. And also, but you have to understand something else, a little bit background. In the early 1980s, I worked with the Reagan think tank. I helped formulate the Strategic Defense Initiative behind the scenes with Paul Nitze. If you read How Hippies Save Physics, David Kaiser, the guy who wrote it, talks about Laurie Chickering. He was a guy who ran it. Talks about that period. So, and at that time, we were having discussions with the Russians. With the Institute for U.S. Canada, Jordi Abatov, and this whole Esalen thing. So
yeah, because what's his name, Colonel Orso, made the argument in his book that SDI really wasn't, unofficially really wasn't about taking out Russian nukes. It was more about taking out stuff that is out from outside.
Well, there's some truth to that too. There's some truth to that also. Yes. But it's such a tight web of Jungian synchronicity. I think I met Colonel
stuff. Like you have to. Like I literally read that today, by the way. But
I can tell you. I have inside information. I can tell you everything that Corso says in that book, The Day After Roswell. Take it as literal truth.
There isn't stuff he slipped in there that's just you have to slip in some information. Yeah.
No.
He just. By the way, when he describes the the thing that looks like a chip, right in the craft, that doesn't seem like a modern chip. That seems like a chip that came from because you wouldn't see that stuff in a modern Intel chip. Because
I don't know. All I know is this. That let me just say one thing. I think I actually met Colonel Corso when I was about 10 or 11 years old. When my grandfather worked for the Army at the Quartermaster Corps. I was the whole thing. I was part of this. I would go down after school. I was living with my grandparents. My grandfather worked for the Quartermaster Corps down on near the the Garment District, 14th Street, around the John Watermaker building. And it was like my playground. I used to come play there. I was a little kid, because they had the laboratories and the uniforms and all this kind of stuff. And I would meet these Army, and when I opened up the book the day after Roswell, later on, and I saw the photograph, and of course, memory, I think this is. I would talk to this Army officer,
right?
And I'm pretty sure it was Corso. Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering it, but it was some Army officer, but talking about flying saucers. I was reading science fiction, the rockets I was going to build, they were studying me. Okay. And these Army guys encouraged me, in my interest in that. Okay. And that's why, and right down the street close by was the studio where they were making the Captain video, like Flash Gordon stuff. So I used to go, because of that, I would go over with this Army guy and sit when they were filming an episode.
If you enjoyed today's video, please hit like and subscribe, and also hit the notification button so you can be notified whenever I post new content. Thank you. Now, if you're enjoying the channel and you want to support it, there are several things you can do. In fact, there are 5 things you can do. The first thing you can do is just buy my books. I got plenty of books out in the market right now, and I would prefer that folks buy a book rather than giving me direct support, because they get something out of it. They get a real tangible product. The second way you can support me is by becoming a member on YouTube or becoming a patron on Patreon. And just go to either site and it'll explain everything. The third way you can support the channel is by checking out my merch site, which is here. There's plenty of stuff that you could get to support the channel. And I'd appreciate that you have it and you can wear it. Not only do you help support the channel, but you also help promote the channel, and I appreciate that. The fourth way that you can support the channel, and this is really easy, is anytime you want to buy something on Amazon, literally just go to the description below and click on any link, literally any link. The channel gets a cut of that, and it costs you no extra money. You just go through the link, as I'm part of the Amazon Affiliates Club. The fifth and final way you can support the channel is through donations. Now, I don't prefer these because it's more of an expression of gratitude, but you don't really get anything out of it as a subscriber to the channel. However, if you decide to do these options, there's two options. There's Buy Me a Coffee, which is a separate site, and there's also, you can go through YouTube with either a super chat, super sticker, or a super thanks. Again, I prefer Buy Me a Coffee because that organization takes less money than Amazon does. But either way, I appreciate any support you are willing to give the channel. So thank you very much, and keep watching. I really appreciate it.